sama waa ji nag yaa ngi bëgg a yàgg ci dëkk bi sa holiday yi gudd na lool sax.
vacances yi yàgg na waaye dama ne naa ñibbisi ci sama réew. investir.
wax nga dëgg sa saafara man maa ko yor jóge ñu dem topp ma.
ci sama waaj da ngaa bëri pexe de topp ma.
xam ngeen Gambia léegi dafa open. loolu moo waral global properties jóg. jaay la kër doo manqué courant doo manqué ndox da ngay am pool maanaam piscine sa disposition di nga am beach bi sécurité 24 hours te soo bëggee investir aussi nga mën a investir sa réew jënd kër di ko louer. hôtel yi na xam baax na waaye nag am na gan yoo xam ni dañoo bëgg bu ñu ñëwee ci réew nekk à l'aise nekk ci bërëb boo xam ne dinañu am seen waañ bu ñu bëggee togg seen lekku dëkk dañu am seen salle bu mag am seen néegu bopp am seen lépp loolu yëpp ak global properties mën na nekk.
jërëjëf def leen ni man ñëw leen global properties ngeen jënd seeni kër aar seen ëllëg ak bu seen njaboot.
Are you a resident of France or its surrounding countries and still wondering how to send your packages to the Gambia? Or your properties got lost or have delay anytime you send them? French Touch is here to solve your problem. French Touch sends all kinds of goods except what cannot be fit in container. They don't only stop at sending, but they also sell goods like fridge, mattresses, good quality carpets, furniture and many more.
Inata bullo jora la karola o fanan kenne ma be wiye simento bije adadi ma na kenne ma ñunu man dangali o dambam fanana de ikamoto ki anin ka wafi nin dadi ma fanana ñun tumo tuma yesandiro kenyilma ika wafi ma konopal ime batandi dunu sikala ye dokula so do miliyan ko sobe yata bake ifon le kela bakaso samba fela la bungo kono French Touch fela sabateri ngale kiti sila balakan gunjur birkama highway ise ka chanyo ya nino ninyin nombala alkami jeskiri.
When they come out, they do not see the acceptance and reception by people who are suffering. They fan back. So don't blame the people who are intellectual. They are genuine intellectuals, ready to sacrifice to change the destiny of this land. They are here, they were here yesterday. They are here today. They'll be here tomorrow. You are the ones, you the people of the Gambia, who must search for them. When they take their stand, support them, so they do not fan back. Your suffering is your own making after 2016. Before we could understand ignorance. But after 2016, the ignorance is no longer there. You are free. You own yourself. You can say everything you want. You can do everything you want. You are free. Your destiny is in your hands. If you are poor and nothing is being done about it, it is you who made the decision that had been made. So, the way forward, colleagues, you, an independent presidential aspirant, join the struggle to support DOI because of the program. We appreciate that. And we'll accompany you. Whether you're going to form a new party to go and work for change, well, whatever you do, know that we are with you. We've heard you. We know that you are a young person determined to serve your country, to give your mind, energy, and heart to your country because you love your country and your people. And I've heard you condemn ethno-linguistic divide to show that the Gambian people are sovereign. The citizens of the Gambia are the majority. Anybody else falls within the minority. And it is those citizens who own the Gambia. And there is no minority in terms of religion, minority in terms of ethno-linguistic group, no minority in terms of gender. We have Gambian citizens equal in sovereignty, each one vote. And all religions, whoever believes in a religion must be an ambassador of that religion. Ethno-linguistic group, ambassador of that ethno-linguistic group to the nation. so that we build a nation that we all can claim to be our own, where any citizen can actually occupy any position, doctor, nurse, minister, any position, as long as you are ready to use your energy for the development of our country, as long as you love your people, as long as you love your country. That is the contract. The contract is to love your people, is to love your country, be ready to serve your country for our collective development. My conclusion, therefore, Dr. Jang, APP, you came to join us. We are ready to support you in anything so that collectively we continue to work to effect system change. We see this relationship we have forged as a treasure. For me, that is the end in terms of representation. But that's not the end in terms of love of my country and people. You will hear my voice is louder, firmer, and more determined to ensure that the forces of ignorance are defeated and nobody will be able to go to sleep again in the Gambia. Even if you want to, you will not sleep again. And don't think in any way that I am in any way emotionally broken. In fact, I'll be a calmer Halifa Sallah after this. The fire that was burning in me will quench today. I thought that I could inspire you to refuse to take that rope of slavery and put it back around your neck. But since you have done that, the tears have dried in my ears, in my eyes. Now I'll be calm to see how I can talk to you to love yourself. We need to teach the people to have self-esteem, to love themselves. We have a people who need to be supported, to love themselves. If we don't do that, we are doomed. The people I see now, they need calmer voices, people situated in them, close to them, to help them to love themselves. Otherwise, we don't have a nation. And we cannot afford, with all our knowledge, not to have a nation. It will be a disgrace for us. We have the opportunity, those of us who galvanize together. After this, let's sit down and see the way forward for our country. There is a way forward. We must search for it. We'll discover it, and we will ensure that we take back our country and take back our power and entrust it whenever it is necessary to people who will be able to address our needs and aspirations. Now that it is entrusted to President Adam Barrow, we would say that we are here anytime to give any advice that will facilitate the development of this nation when it comes on. This is our mandate. We are here for the nation, but we can never be absorbed by anyone. We don't want to be used by NPP to go against UDP. You, the supporters of DOI, don't allow yourself to be absorbed by anybody's agenda. Follow the DOI agenda. Here and there, they will say, Halifa Sallah is this, you know, he's the good guy, he's this. All this is window dressing. I don't want such praises that pit me against other people. What I want is to be seen for what I stand for and who I am. And you, the DOI people, you must develop the maturity to be unifiers of the nation and not dividers of the nation. Allow those with populist agenda to continue with their populist agenda and their fight. We have only one fight. Fight against poverty. Fight against injustice. Fight against ignorance. Thank you very much. mulunta ko fonga conference kotem soto me ya lon ko bediyamo kala na kangol mbawo mo jamale be jang me ya lon ko nata doro pour que kumo moy dolbul an te woko kala pour que sendi jang so wato mo me ya lon ko e bota radio to wala television to me ya lon ko e nata jang pour que la kangol moy maybe ñing kola to zisi nga continue kacaye continue bari in si conference do kilime ya lonko fenk diamo la je men man kala kawol to inshallah fo mu ngi melni waxon nañ ni ñu laal ci walu suñu lak yi wala suñu ko bëgg na def ay khalifa fi nek ñoo xamni li mo leen ici bëgg nañ ñu bayyi leen ñu dem su fekkee ne am nga yeneen laajte yoo leen laajte ci suñu làkk yi dinañ ko mën a def waaye nag dinañ jëlaat yeneen jotaay toog ak yéen et ñu mun a waxtaan liñ wax ni yëpp ci anglais ñu mun ko waxtaan ci suñu làkk yi waaw mu mel ni any let me hand over.
All right, we will now open the floor to the press to ask any questions that you may have.
Can I say something on behalf of the since maybe we all of us must be doing this, but if we say what we want to say, we can
You can introduce yourself.
Good afternoon, Honorable Halifa Sallah. Good afternoon, Chairperson, Honorable Celia Jaffa, Dr. Kuran, and Dr. Jan, Honorable Usman, and the rest of the members of the executive. Probably I've never seen us here among the PDOIS gathering. But today I am here with two eminent persons in the presence of Bishop Odiko and Imam Esa Labo. We were expecting Honorable Mrs. Lena, who is also part of us. We have been working with Honorable Sallah and some of his people for 2-3 months now on what we call code of conduct. Code of conduct. Our role is, and will continue to be, to ensure that peace, justice, fair play prevail during the elections, before, during elections, and after elections. And for that reason, we have asked, or we have developed a code of conduct, which Honorable Sallah and the other 6 parties signed, so that they would look at those outlined in the code of conduct document and to be followed during their campaign, during voting, and after elections. And we are pleased to report that DOI, in particular Halifa and his executive, are one of those people who have highly recommended and highly followed the commitments we have made. And that is why we have been asked to come here. We spoke to him on the phone before coming here. And that is why we are asked to come here to extend our pleasure, to tell you that we are really impressed with the manner and the way you conducted your campaign during election and after the results are announced. And your announcement of endorsing what has come is not a surprise to us. On that note, on behalf of Bishop, Imam, Honorable Rena, we want to thank the executive of DOI, and we hope DOI would continue. Your agenda is important. Changing the life of people, making sure that they are out of poverty is the issue in this country. I thank you.
All right. We will now open the floor for questions from the ladies and gentlemen of the press. Let's see.
jërëjëf Mr Sallah gàcce ngalama bokkoon nga ci ñi doon firndeel démocratie Gambia mooy bokk ci li nga xam ne mooy joŋante xëccoog njiitu réew yi doon am muy ci gaaw bi ñu weesu Halifa Ababacar Sallah doonoon nga koo xam ne am na ay kàddu yoo waxoon waaye it waxaat nga ko ci sa biiri wax mooy dëggal nga ni fii la ca bokk ci li nga xam ne mooy joŋante xëccoog njiitu réew ak bu mu mëntu doon ci loo xam ne pal moo koy joxe waaye di nga wéy di liggéeyal sa réew ma amoon ab laaj boo xam ne bëgg naa la ko laaj ndaxte ñun suñu biir ba nga waxee loolu bokk naa ci ñu doon def ay gëstu di laaj ay ndaw réew mi ñu bari ñu ngi naan ñi ngi waajal ci gox bu ne ci Gambie daañu dajale ay nit ay ndaw yu takku ngir ñaan la nga wéy di leen gunge ci li nga xam ne mooy ci politique bi ndax bu ñooñu ñëwee dina tax ndaw ñooñu li ñuy waaj bu ñu ñëwee ndax dina tax Halifa Ababacar Sallah daal di dellu ginnaaw ci kàddu yi nga xam ne fa la dëgg jërëjëf Mouhamed Mbaye Garmi Gambian Talents TV.
xam nga Gambia dafa am jaar-jaar jaar-jaar yi ñaari fan ci décembre dafa nekk jaar-jaar bu am solo ndax ki ëppoon doole yëpp ëpp alal yëpp ëpp baat yëpp su jëlee téléphone koo xam ne kenn mësu koo xam ci wàllu politique boobu ne ko jébbal naa la nguur gi doomi Gambie dafa am lu rëy lu ñu waroon a jàngee ci loolu mu mel ni bon ñun li ñu dese mooy tabax Gambia woon yoon wi nga xam ne ku ñëwati rek daf koo yokk wala lu am lu ñu ci wàññi soo gisee man ma ne suma taxawaay ci presidential election bi dinaa toog juróomi at rek du passé foofu mooy ni dañ yàgg di am nguur yuy xàbbaabal benn nguur ñett fukki at beneen nguur ñaar fukki at ak ñaar mu mel ni soxla nga lu jàngal nit ñi ne am na lu wuute ak loolu bon su nit ñëwee toog juróomi at rek tabax réew mi ci anam boo xam ne ñëpp dinañ ci kontaan xam nga loolu dafa nekk doorin bu bees ba kenn du ñëwati di xàbbaabal ci nguur looloo tax man ma wax loolu mu mel ni nag su fekkee ne itam dénkuñ ma réew mi mu ngi mel ni ba tey itam rek loolu dafa nekk exemple ci réew mi ni nit mun naa dem ba liggéeyam jeex mu dal di ne fi mu nekk nii xaaral ma jébbale parti bi xaaral ma jébbale li nga xam ne taxaw élection la wante loolu terewul ne bugg bi ma bugg suma réew bugg bi mu nga xam ne moom laa bugg sumay niti réew kooku moom mu ngi ci suma xol bi pare duma toog di seetaan suma réew toog seetaan suma niti réew ñuy gën a nekk ci toroxtaan bu dul jeex du xaaj mu mel ni ba tey suma xalaat suma man lu ma mun a def pour xam ne kooku dafa continuer mu mel ni parti bi dafa am nu ma war a tabaxee ci boppam dégg nga ma wax ko ni nit yi Gambie fi mu nekk nii dafa am leneen lu ñu soxla foog ñu dimbali nit ñi di bugg seen bopp dafa mel ni am na lu ñu manqué le ci loolu ndax soo demee bi am doole boo xam ne bi mun nga koo dénkaane nga jël buumu njaam laxasaat ci sa baat ah kooku mu ngi mel ni am na lu des moo tax ñuy wax ne foog ñu toogaat ñu waxtaanaat seetaat lan lañ war a dugalaat ci doomi Gambie ndax ñu mun a xamaat ki ñu doon xam li ñu moom xam niñ koo dénkaane pour mu jëriñ leen dafa mel ni liggéey boobu moo des te moom lañ wax ne ndaw yi suñ ko paree sëmb ñu ànd ceeg ñoom ndax liggéey boobu foog ñu def ko rek pour suñ réew doon réew mi nga xam ne dinañ ko sopp dinañ bugg itam ñëpp xam ne ci réew moomu lañ jógee ndax nit foog muy naboore yow kenn buggul nekk ci réew moo xam ne suñu ko gisee xeet la ku nekk bugg naa naboore yow wala loolu mooy suma tontu.
This was going to be my question, so since you said it in Wolof, can you repeat it in English, please?
Can you ask the question in English then? Can you give the mic?
Yeah, it's the same question. It's the same question. Yeah, but I just want it in English version.
Yes, it's my duty to serve my country in any capacity at any time. I have done so based on the demands of times and circumstances. I've emphasized that 2016 was a turning point. For me, that was the opportunity we had to put an end to self-perpetuating rule and build the architecture of a state where all of us will be proud to be called our homeland. So to me, we have not achieved that. That's why the 2021 elections became an instrument for me to demonstrate precisely what we wanted to demonstrate in 2016. That is a government that will not go beyond 5 years, whose fundamental objective would be to build the type of state that all of us will be proud to call our homeland. I said that for me, even if I don't win an election, I must still give that example that, well, we must call it a day in terms of representation. But that does not mean that I will hate my country and people. It means the continuity of that love of country and people will compel me to work with anybody to continue the agenda of ensuring that the people take charge of their destiny and take ownership of their homeland and take ownership of their power to ensure that they entrust it so as to ensure their liberty, dignity, and prosperity. That's what I'm emphasizing, that I will work with anybody, because one thing that is very clear is that something is missing in the Gambian people, and that is real love of self. That self-esteem is still missing. So it's our duty to work day and night to inject that in them. Because the example is very clear. 1987, when we started with very educated people, ready to sacrifice. I just give an example of Dr. Gay, who was a very dedicated medical practitioner. Accepted to stand for election and was rejected. And we had Dr. Mane and all these people. We had series of intellectuals ready to participate. But once that became the experience, they fan back. So there are many people ready to sacrifice, but the people's response forced them to fan back. That's somehow, something is wrong. And therefore, we must work to address that. And that's what we are saying. We must work to build that self-esteem in the Gambian people. And I'm ready to work with anybody, any young person, anybody, so that we can ensure that that happens. But in terms of representation, there's no need for me to continue. It is important for that to be an example that at a given stage, times and circumstances will dictate that you move from the area of representation and continue to serve your country in other ways. Thank you.
Just a follow-up to that, you've talked about your continuous support if it's needed, particularly the young people. I would ask if the current government that is declared leader approaches you or your executive to share ideas, will you want to come forward? Hence now you don't want to be in the forefront, pushing for it.
I believe we have always said that anybody who wishes to get our advice will always get that advice welcome. One thing that I hear people saying is if the government offers me this and that, whether I will go and be part of it. I think people should abandon that type of notion. To see that we are talking about system change. That is precisely the reason why I did not accept a ministerial post in 2016, because a coalition has many programmatic policy documents working together, and which one are you going to put into operation? That is the question. So therefore, if you work under that umbrella, you will achieve nothing and receive all the blame. I do not want to be part of such a destiny. I want to be a part of a destiny that is very clear and clear. That this is what I stood for, this is what I worked for, and if I fail, that is why I fail. People can judge me for that. But nobody will judge me for somebody else's failure. That will never be my destiny. And what am I searching for now? For position, for money, what am I searching for? So I've lived all my life of service with my colleagues, and that service will continue. If the government needs any advice, and it could have been any government of the Gambia, will render our advice. There is no doubt about that. But nobody should talk about joining a government or working with a government of that nature. That is out of the question.
Honorable Sallah, I would like to ask you in Mandinka language, if you don't mind.
Well, you have already said that.
Okay, I am sorry. Cool, we don't do more good. You know, I'm getting in socialism. Yes, and ending a better than Beja Ilala. Anum Fanang Ngamo Yuko Ibe Fonyola, Nimangani Ibe Fonyola, Politicola. So, Lafting in Kala, Febe Fonyola President, you know, Labang, Wale, Fonyola Politico Fongon Labang, and do Fana Nie Fonyo. First, no president will advise at Telabang. Abarakaba.
Akuma ya Kalamutoko, Mutolfi. Musol kateko kenyame we kulbe koindi ko ni teko kita kilin ka tale pour mukamma ka dundi kuto pour asala nafulo la fondi ko banko fananga aran keso $23 billion mu teko let bari mo ka teko ke bari ko do ka muru ikam wole mu kolya bunda ntol ko ni teko kita isi do bondino ya e cooperative bank lo ni wokete ni mo beje men ya lonko asina fulo sodono je ka do kundi ka murundi keso kono interest la kan asitano je weke wala mun na tamande nyaata malo fe ko mo understand that so woto wala mu socialism wala mu tamande nyaata fulan jango banko la aran keso isi do bondi je ya ke sovereign wealth investment fund na keta sovereign wealth investment fund nsi kodo bondi je nganye muto kulugol sa ngadu na bakono ay ke banko la na folot ni ya nati ya topoto banko molbe do moro sotala bawo nyo be ala banko kam bar isa wa fino banta asi banta ko ko sabu banko ma ya dundi aran kesoto ya bondi koteke ka factory lo men ya lon ko asina tamato ta ke tamato potati asina tiota kake diwlinoti at min be mu kulete men yalon ko nga explain campagne ko nga mere ya moyde so woto amani jam pour que muru akan bawo nga men fo campagne ko do min diwlino men ko sino nka men bondi banta ka lati nyim banko kan 1.2 billion ayewol nyinin ka banko ko 2020 what si do ko ro nyim banko kan diwlino si do ko so ni la do ko wobe do mala jang wo dala se million wuli kilin kema fula isi wo tije wo yetu ni banko ka banko la fonko la bunda jidi wo mo socialism so ye menni ka wala mum ntafe ko pour que lo président yala que lo député yala que lo council yala wo mu komo kulati sani wo bantal lintofe bari pour kana banko kan kina banko digol kan yala wo buka faani wo ka tentende oto ko me yalon ko ayen ka pour nga wo yitendi kala motorola karandirola ko me yalon ko ne si wo yitendi pour dole continuer ka do ko ke ambe wole kala ye advice ko fo wal advice ko nga même bambandi wala mo ni membe mararola pour nga dum ala mararo kono yalo wo mu koma tale bawo tol système mo système change let woto woni ala tamande nyama kalen tamande nyama même man kilenti ni la fita dundule yoto amun to ko wetula ko so what wala ken ko na kata yamaro to me yalon ko banko be la nafamu wo kay mo membe president yala na ya nyin kambulu me na yamaro di bari na kata doy la government amun to ko to be tarala je kama ko rodi pour ka samba anyanta samba la nya malo fu jabiro kile al sa kalmu to mo be sirin hanika bi alla nyin karo nyanta tilinna press conference même keda.
And I just like to remind everyone who's asking questions if you would identify the media house that you represent. Thank you. Are there any more questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Well, we thank you for coming. And there will be more press conferences like this by the party, because this is the interactive period between the party and the population. And those of you who would wish to engage should get closer so that your names will be taken, and then we'll see how to build study cells so that we can look at the whole Gambian economy, all aspects of Gambian society. And as young people, you begin the process of getting true understanding of how to run your country, because there has been so much distortion. In fact, I was talking to an intellectual one time in a debate. He talked about, well, centralized government, that what you people are talking about, centralized government. And this person is teaching in a university. And you have central government. All government are centralized in the world. You have centralized government and you have regional government. So there is no government on earth which is not centralized. There is no budget which is not centralized. But somehow they use this terminology, put it in their heads, and they use it willy-nilly and then confuse our whole young people. So we are going to be very aggressive in terms of knowledge building. So all of you who are interested in knowledge will be able to open up that chapter so that you start to truly understand your country and understand ideas. As we have said, know yourself, know your country, know the world. Then you will be the architect of your own destiny, and you will not be anybody's fool on the face of the earth. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. We will come to you.
You can allow our guests to leave. Thank you. Just provide space for them.